What's going on, y'all? So in this video, I'm going to be going over a bunch of information that I've managed to dig up about Blade and Soul Neo through the Korean forums, the Chinese forums, and using Google Translate, watching videos, watching interviews, and I've got a bunch of information on Neo so far. Some of these are just quick drop point, just straightforward information. Others have a little bit of details that I'll get into. So we'll be going over the new PVX area, inventory changes, field bosses, the insignia system, new CC resist stat, blueprints, gear level requirement changes, souls but not the ones you're thinking of, gear/skill changes, experience changes, story mode changes, exploration, the UI changes, dungeon difficulty changes, changes to the daily quest system, changes to the loot system, item trading between characters, the card collection system, the vitality system, PvP arena, player market changes, and classes available. So let's just jump right into it. So first off, the insignia system is going to be in place right away. Insignias were introduced to Blade and Soul like years after it was released, but it's going to be in Blade and Soul right away. And I'll just show you guys what the insignia system looks like for those who haven't, or who might have left Blade and Soul before the insignia system was introduced. So this is the insignia system, and you'll collect these through like boss loots, dungeons, and buying them on the player marketplace, which we'll get into later on. But they basically just add stats to your character. So, like for example, 13 attack power for 4 seconds when hit, stacks 6 times. So some will be geared towards attack power, some will be geared towards defense, some will be geared towards debuff damage, some of them are dungeon specific too, so actually read what they do before you equip these, because some of them are geared towards specific dungeons and dungeon bosses. I don't know like everything about this. I haven't really dabbled into it. As you can see, I don't even have everything unlocked yet. But yeah, the insignia system is going to be there right away, and it's just something to add to your character's stats. Next is a quick little piece of detail here for a new status called CC resist, and it's just it's like anything like crit damage, crit resist, defense, crit defense, stuff like that. So what CC resist is just what it sounds like. You resist CCs. So if you're in a PvP match and a character, an enemy's got you in like a 3-hit combo, and then they're going to hit you with a CC attack, you're depending on how high your CC resist is, you'll have a chance of actually just negating their CC, so it just won't work. So let's say someone tried to stun you and they used the stun technique on you, and it may proc where it just doesn't work. You just resist it. And yeah, that's just about it. That's pretty much it. Now, blueprints. So when it comes to blueprints, you can get them from doing faction quests. And once you do your faction quest, you get rewards. You get these tokens that you can then take to a faction vendor, and you can get blueprints. And what some of those blueprints can do for you is they can allow you to make weapons, which is a good way of trying to gear up versus trying to find them from field bosses or buying them on the market. So you'll be able to do things like craft weapons, craft accessories, and whatnot. And it's just an alternative way to gear up your character. And that's pretty much it for that. Then we have gear level limit. They have removed the gear level limit. So that means you can be a level 1 with the end game weapon if you want. So you know how if you're playing an alt character, and you can come across weapons that are too powerful for your level. That's gone now. So you can have, the highest tier gear that you can buy right from the start. So if you're level 1 and you've got the end coin, you can go on the marketplace and buy the most top tier powerful weapon at you as level 1 and be able to equip it right away. So they're doing that to make it easier to level up. to get to end game. So yeah, that's a nice little change. So yeah, there's no level limit now for weapons. Souls. So when I talk about souls, I'm not talking about this soul. I'm not talking about your actual gear soul. Now, from what I've read in the videos that I saw, your soul, the soul that I'm speaking of, is each dungeon boss has a soul, and you can equip that soul. And what it does is it allows you to actually use a attack that they use. So let's take, for example, Tomb of the Exile, the boss there. He has a flamethrower move. If you get his soul, you can activate it and actually use that fire attack that boss uses. And there's unique ones for pretty much all the major end game bosses, from what it looks like and what I read. And I've saw some videos on that. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to be part of your actual soul or if it's its own separate thing, but there is a new soul, and I'm not sure. It could be separate from the one we have now, but it does something unique that the current souls don't do in this game. So that's something to look forward to. So as you all know, there's been big changes towards gear and skills and how you acquire and use skills. So now whenever you get skills, they're from actual skill books. And what you do is you equip that skill to an accessory. So there's specific earring skill books, belt skill books, things like that. And they all have their own unique things. Some have status effects, some have different attacks, and they can be acquired through Mushin's Tower. I believe you can buy them off of the player market as well. And you can also transmute them, so you can make them. So if you have enough of the lower tier ones, you can use them, transmute them together to make a better one. And you can remove them whenever you want, but they require an item to take them off. But apparently the item, Google Translate wasn't really translating it for me to give me the specific name, but apparently it's a really common item that you use just to remove the skill book, and so you can add another skill book on. Also, when it comes to weapons, you can level. They're not going to level up the same way they do in the game. So in the current Blade and Soul, you take your weapon and you take it from level 0 to, like, let's say stage 14, and then maybe that's the max level for that weapon, and then you use a breakthrough item and it changes the weapon into something else, and it starts at a stronger. It has stronger stats, but it starts at level 1, and you build it back up to a higher level, and then you use a breakthrough item again to create it, turn it into a newer weapon that's stronger, but now it's at level 1, and so on and so on. Right now, there's no doing that. It's just you just find a weapon, and then you find a better weapon through harder dungeons. You don't keep leveling them up to change them into a new weapon through a breakthrough item. You can level your weapon up, but once it reaches that level cap, that's it. You can't turn it into the next stage weapon. You have to find a better weapon. So you probably don't want to waste materials too much on leveling a weapon up if you know it's not the best one, or you know you're going to find a better one. But yeah, that's what I know about the weapon system so far and the skill changes for your gear. So there's been changes to how you gain experience. You now only gain experience through the story mode and daily quests. You no longer gain experience through the normal blue quests. So that's not that big of a change. I mean, most of the time you got your gear, your experience from doing dailies and stuff anyways. There might be other ways, but from what I've seen and what I've heard, those are really the only two ways to gain experience as of right now. Story mode. So there's been changes to story mode. In story mode now, and it's not like the story's been changed, but it's a nice quality of life thing now. So anything that involves the story mode and the dungeon. So let's, in the Blade and Soul we have now, you talk to an NPC. He says, "Oh, I need you to go to this cave and clear this out," and then you got to run all the way over to the dungeon because you've never been there before. You kill that guy, then you either escape out of the dungeon or you run all the way back to the NPC. You don't got to do that no more. And now it's point blank. The NPC gives you a quest. You go on your quest log, you hit teleport, you'll teleport right to the dungeon. You'll complete that dungeon or whatever quest you want to do. You'll go back to your quest log, you'll hit teleport again, and it'll teleport you right to the NPC. So there's no more running back and forth through all that bull crap. So that's a nice little quality of change for the story mode. And it's for the story mode only. Anything that involves the story anyways. UI, the UI has been changed a little bit. It looks more. A lot of people have said it looks more like it's like for a mobile app. From what I've seen, it looks really cool. It's not that drastic of a change. It's not going to be hard to navigate or anything. It's just a different look. And yeah. As for dungeon difficulties, there is none now. There's no. They've gotten rid of dungeon difficulty, so there's no more easy, normal, and hard. It just is what it is. If you can't do it, get some help. Gear up some more. All that great stuff. There's been changes to the daily challenge system now. You can only do the daily challenge once with one character. You cannot use multiple characters to do daily challenges anymore. So if you're using your main and you complete the daily challenge, that's it. All your other alts are locked out of completing a daily challenge. You can only do it once. I don't know why they're doing that. It is what it is, though. So, like I said, we may get those changes in the West. We may not get that, but yeah, that's how it's going to be. That's how it is in Korea right now. There's also been changes to the loot system now. So now there is a personal loot chest and then a shared loot chest. So whenever you complete a dungeon, you will have a chest clearly just for yourself with some items, and then there's a shared loot chest where you would get that classic bid war auction, but they've removed that. There is no longer any auctions for items, and this was to deter free-to-play players from getting screwed over by whales. So what happens now is, let's say you guys are all you're 6 people in a dungeon. You're hunting for that really rare item, super rare item you want, and you hit that shared loot chest for everybody, and it pops up. Well, what happens now is it's just randomly distributed to everybody. So there's no saying who gets what. You just hope that you get it, and it's nice. It has its ups and its downs. If you're in a party of 6 of all friends and you want to help that one player in your team get this specific item because you guys already have it, well, now you can't really do that because there's no guarantee. Because in the auction, you could just let somebody have it. As long as nobody voted for it and someone put down like 1 silver, that person would get it. So you can't do that now, which kind of sucks. So it's going to be harder to help your friends specifically. But when you're in those random dungeons and you're in the dungeons with whales, you don't have to worry about definitely being outbidded by someone that has more end coin than you, because that's just not going to happen no more. The game's just going to distribute it to randomly, so whoever gets the stuff gets the stuff. And it's not one person's going to get everything out of that loot. It's going to probably be separated. And I kind of imagine, like, if there's like a rare item, there might be like duplicates, like 1 or 2 at least, so one person's not just going to get something good. But I never really delved that far into to know if there's multiples of that stuff or not. Also, they've made changes to trading. You cannot trade with other alts anymore. So you won't be able to trade your items with alts. You won't be able to send outfits to alts. You won't be able to send gold over to your alts. You won't be able to send your gems over to your alts. I'm not sure why they're doing that either. That could change in the West. I'm not sure. But the way that the loot system's working now, it's not really... It seems like they did eliminate a lot of the grind. And I'll go over that a little bit more later. They also have a card collection system now. So field bosses and dungeon bosses have a chance of dropping cards, from what I believe. So these cards they're almost like soul shields. You can get a set effect. And you can hold so many cards, and if you get a certain set of cards that work with each other, you'll get stat bonuses, almost like soul shields. I don't know too much more about that. It was hard. Like when I'm looking this stuff up, I'm just going in random forums and just using Google Translate to see what people are talking about. I can't tell what the topics are until Google translates them for me. So that's as far as I know about the the card collection. PvP, most of you know there's no 1v1, there's no 3v3, and there's only 6 versus 6, and that's for an hour. I don't know why. Hopefully that changes for us. There hasn't been an explanation on why single 1v1 and 3v3 have been removed right now. Who knows if they're going to come back? There's been no word about that, but that's just how it is. Vitality system. So, after thinking about it and reading other people's opinions about this vitality system, it works. It has its benefits and it doesn't. So what the vitality system is you start off with 100 vitality per day, and depending on what you do will waste your vitality, and once your vitality is depleted you can no longer collect rewards. So for example, doing a dungeon and looting a dungeon will use anywhere from, what I've read, 8 to 10 vitality. Now if you kill a field boss and you loot the field boss, that uses 1 vitality. And from what I'm hearing and seeing, apparently farming field bosses is the way to go in this game. So you're gonna have a lot of players, like 90% of the player base are farming field bosses. They've been made a real key feature, even more than now in Blade and Soul. We currently have field bosses are a way to get good money, good items, soul shields, and it's a good source of income if you know what you're doing, apparently. So field bosses are a big one, and they only waste 1 vitality, so you'll have enough. I mean, there are some quests, like your daily quests, you're going to want to do and whatnot, but field bosses apparently are a really good way to gear up and make some money. So like I said, you waste 1 vitality per field boss, and they do have vitality potions, so you can restore your vitality with these vitality potions. I don't know how you acquire them, but they don't go away, so if you don't use them they don't disappear. And if you do drink a vitality potion you won't waste your vitality potion, like the amount you get from that, until you deplete your daily. So you can still drink one, have some daily vitality left, like your normal vitality, and it won't use up until your normal vitality is gone. Let's see here. Also, field bosses. Well, I just went over that. Field bosses are going to be, that's just the main income for your character, because you can sell stuff on the marketplace. And also, pretty much everything can be sold on the marketplace. Weapons, earrings, skill books. It looks like everything can be sold on the market now for Endcoin. Endcoin is now like the replacement for gold. You can't use gold for anything other than upgrading. Gold is just going to be used on upgrading items. So that gold is not going to go into somebody's pocket. It's going to go just back into the game system. Like, you won't even see it after you've earned your gold. So yeah, everything's with Endcoin. You're going to be buying everything with Endcoin. So you can buy Endcoin on the market as well, like through swiping your credit card. But you can apparently you can earn a lot of Endcoin in-game if you know what you're doing, for free. So yeah, that's a change to the money and field bosses. Inventory has been increased by a big margin, so you can now, like, if you look at your inventory now, let's see, let's go over to our game here. So if you go to your inventory now and how it's full, there's actually more. You can scroll, like you can use your mouse wheel and scroll down more. So they've expanded the inventory by quite a bit, which is nice. And let's see, the last thing I want to talk about is the new PvX area. So there is PvP, which is player versus player. There's PvE, which is player versus enemy, like computers, and now there's PvX. And what PvX is basically, it's a free-for-all. So there's going to be areas where there's PvX areas where you'll enter the area. There's a bunch of NPCs to kill, tokens to collect, and merchant, like vendors in that area, to use those tokens on to buy various items from that vendor. But you can be attacked by other players regardless of if you have a faction uniform on or not. You don't need your faction uniform on, so you could be just doing your own thing in this PVX area, killing NPCs for tokens or whatever type of currency they're going to drop to buy items at that vendor in the area, and any player can come up to you and attack you while you're doing this. So it sounds kind of cool. Hopefully, I suggest probably going in there with a friend or two so you're not getting trolled. Because anyone can attack you. I don't know if it's gonna be like level balanced, or like if a level 30 something can come in and you're level 10 and they can one shot you. I'm not sure what the end game is like for it, but there is a new PvPE area where it's pretty much a free for all. And yeah, that's pretty much covers everything that I've been able to dig up so far. I think the level cap is 36, I think, and the content goes up to Moonwater. And for classes, you start with the 7 classes from Assassin to Blade Dancer. Warlock will come at another, like a later date, and then so on and so forth with the other classes. But we're going to start off with the standard 7 classes when Blade and Soul first came out to NA. And yeah, that's about it. Other than that, guys, I can't really think of anything else. I'm going to keep digging, trying to find out what I can about this game for Neo. And any new information, I will let you guys know. Other than that, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.